This is JPG Radio.
Classic, you don't have one. Classic, you don't have one. Let your core audience stomach that and tell them where you get your abs from. Today, we're going to be talking about if Drizzy Drake, Aubrey Graham from the True North Strong and Free, does he have a classic album? There has been discourse about this for the last year, ever since Kendrick Lamar released his diss tracks. People have been wondering, does Drake actually have a classic album? He definitely has classic songs, but does he have a body of work that encapsulates a classic album? Now, before we get into this, we have to define what a classic album is, right? Because it's easy to blur the line between classic album and nostalgia. And favorite album. For point of reference, my favorite Drake album is If You're Reading This, It's Too Late. I like that album a lot because I feel like that album was him really showing people that he's not just an R&B artist. He's also a rapper. We've always known he was a rapper by that point. He has definitely rapped before that, but he's never put out a body of work that was just rap. Now, yes, there's a couple of R&B songs sprinkled on there, but it's not a rap. It's not an R&B album. It's definitely a solid rap album. Now, that's my favorite album, and I have a lot of nostalgia for that album. But would I consider it a classic? No. Would I consider it a classic? No. And the reason being is because I think that a classic album is truly defined by the majority of people. To have a favorite album, that's personal to you. But to have a classic album means that this album holds a lot of water in a lot of people's lives for a certain reason. I have two albums in mind, but we're going to go over some of the more obscure albums, his weaker parts of his discography before we get into those two albums. Now, I'm going to just be completely frank with you. I am a Drake fan. Do I think he won the beef? I don't really think anyone won the beef, to be quite honest with you. But that's just my personal opinion, and maybe we'll make a video on that in the future. But I am a Drake fan. The reason why I'm a Drake fan is because he is so diverse within his discography. This man can make a great R&B track. He can make a great pop track. He can make a great rap track. The guy has a lot of shoes that he fills. He has a lot of different branches on his tree. And I think that's really amazing for an artist, but I think that also plays into effect why people discuss if he has a classic album. Because he is so diverse that sometimes his albums, even if they have great songs on them, feel just kind of everywhere. There's no real theme to them sometimes. And you're like, what is this? What's going on? So let's just delve into this. And yes, I just want to put out there, I am one of those people in those memes, where it's like, oh, I don't like Drake. Although I've never actually actively said I don't like Drake. I've always been honest, and I've always said that Drake is a great artist because he is so diversified. But I am one of those artists, one of those listeners, those people that, I'm like, oh, I listen to a lot of different music, and I do. I genuinely listen to a lot of different music. I'm the type of guy to listen to rock, then listen to folk, then listen to EDM, like dubstep, then listen to rap, then listen to like classic rock or like jazz type deal. Like I definitely have a very, very wide palette for music. I listen to a lot of various artists, a plethora of different genres. But I always go back to Drake. And so like last year, for instance, my Apple Music replay was, I think like 9 out of 12 months was like Drake number one. I think I listened to Family Matters something like 240 times. Like, it's pretty crazy. My most listened to album, I think, of 2024 was technically the Family Matters single. So, yeah, I'm one of those guys. So, take what I say with a grain of salt. I definitely do enjoy Drake music. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I don't, just to fit in with a crowd. I enjoy Kendrick music too. So, I listened to GNX. No, actually, I'm lying. GNX was my most played album of last year. Yeah. My most played album of last year was GNX, 110%. But regardless, I am a Kendrick fan, I'm a Drake fan, so take it with a grain of salt what I'm about to say on this podcast. Let's start off with Drake's weakest album, in my opinion. We're gonna just come out of the gate swinging. 2017's More Life is probably Drake's weakest album. Definitely not a classic. Are there classic songs on there? Sure. Sure. A lot of people would say Passion Fruit is a classic Drake song, and this is where I'm gonna probably be a little bit criticized, but that's fine. I think Passion Fruit is one of Drake's weakest songs in his discography. I really don't like this song. I don't like the beat. I don't like the lyricism. I don't like the mixing. I don't like this song at all. I actually never listen to this song. I'll never go back to this song. Like, it's just not, it just doesn't work for me. I feel like if he released that song on Honestly Nevermind and Gordo had his hand in it, I feel like the song would be actually really fucking fire. But the song is not that good. I'll be quite honest with you. But there is some decent tracks on this album. You know, there's Free Smoke. There's Portland. Forgot about that track, actually. There's the infamous KMT, which started the beef with XXXTentacion, claiming that he stole his flow on KMT. You know, as a Drake fan, I will say the resemblance is very there. The resemblance to KMT and Look at Me, the resemblance is uncanny, actually. So I would, and you know, Drake has been known to, you know, steal some bars here and there. So it wouldn't surprise me if KMT was, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. But regardless, KMT's on this album. Fake Love is on this album. Yeah. Wow, there's a lot of songs on this album that I forgot about. But regardless, it's still Drake's weakest joint. I also want to put out there that I was getting a ton of hate because, like, I was just talking in my circle, I guess, of people who enjoyed rap music as well in high school. Was I in high school? No, 2017 was, yeah, I graduated in 2016. So people that I was working with, maybe at McDonald's, because I was working at McDonald's at the beginning of 2017, right after high school. I don't remember. Anyway, I remember people getting mad at me because I was calling it an album. And people were like, no, it's not an album. It's a playlist. And I'm like, how the fuck does that make sense? Yes, it's called A Playlist by October Firm, but it's not a fucking playlist. It's a Drake album with brand new music on it. Drake's on every single track. Like, what are you talking about? Except maybe the Georgia interlude. He's on every single fucking track. It's just called a playlist for the funsies, you know? It's not actually a playlist. People were actually mad at me. They're like, it's not an album, it's a playlist. It's a fucking album. It's not even a compilation. A compilation would require him to put on music that he already released. You know what a compilation is? Compilation would be Care Package. That's a great example. A compilation would be Care Package. Leaked music he never released in the past. That could be a compilation. But this is not a compilation, nor is it a playlist. But anyway, this is definitely not a classic album. We're not going to talk about it too much. Sneakin' is on this, I think, as well. Is Sneakin' here? I'm pretty sure. Where is Sneakin'? He didn't put Sneakin' on the album? Wow, that's weird. Anyway, Sneakin' was 21 Savage's first appearance on a Drake song, which obviously led to, you know, her loss and everything. And that was a great song too, but it's not on the album. I guess it was just a single. That's super weird. Huh. The more you know, I guess. I would have actually bet money that Sneakin' was on this album. Wow. Anyway, More Life. Drake's weakest project, in my opinion. Definitely not a classic. We're gonna go into Thank Me Later. Thank Me Later. Actually, we're gonna put Thank Me Later and So Far Gone in the same area. I wouldn't say they're weak albums. Definitely not. Definitely not weak albums. There are classic songs on these albums. We're not going to get into the whole discography of these albums because I realize if I do that, we're going to have like a fucking 2-hour podcast. But I'm going to put these ones in the same category where it's definitely good albums. I wouldn't say they're great, but they're definitely good. They're definitely the reason why Drake has become so big now, right? He was very, very vocal with his R&B scene at the time. And I wouldn't consider them classic albums either. I wouldn't consider them classic albums. Would I consider them good albums? For sure. But I wouldn't consider them classic albums. People could make the argument that Thank Me Later is a classic album because it's his like first studio debut album. But even then, I wouldn't agree. A classic album to me is not that. Okay. Get into the next one. We're gonna go with Dark Lane demo tapes. Great album, really enjoyed it. But again, not a classic album. There's some really good songs on this though. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's Chicago Freestyle, which is a classic Drake song. I go back to that song quite often. Uh, there's that Playboy Cardi song that's on there, Pain 1993. It's decent. I don't mind that. War is actually a great fucking Drake song. I think it's an underrated Drake song. Um, 2C Slide is a classic song. Desires featuring Future is a pretty good song too. D4L. I think D4L is my favorite fucking song on this album. I love the beat. I love the chemistry between Future, Young Thug, and Drake. Just a great album altogether. And the last one that I want to talk about on this album, is it on this album? Yeah, Demons. Demons is actually a great track too. Demons and War are definitely underrated Drake tracks, but this is not a classic album. I like the cover art for this album though. I think the cover art's pretty hard, but definitely not a classic album. Not an album that everyone's gonna go back to and listen to. We're gonna go with Honestly Nevermind next. Not a classic Drake album. There's two songs on here that I go back to consistently. Well, I say consistently, but it's like, when I want to listen to Drake, there's definitely two songs here that are in my rotation, and that's obviously Jimmy Cooks, but even more so, Sticky. I love Sticky. Maybe it's because I'm from Montreal, and he goes, two sprinters to Quebec. Chérie, où est mon bec? Like, I'm like, oh, there we go. There we go. My bilingual king. My bilingual king, bro. Represent. Fun fact, actually, I went to the Drake concert in Montreal when he was doing his It's All a Blur tour, and he had said that his first ever paid gig as an artist was in Montreal. So shout out Montreal. We've always loved Drake. Yeah. I almost lost a little bit of love for Drake when I found out that he had a daughter too that he was hiding from the world, but now that that's cleared up as like, fake story, fabricated story from the OVO crew, the OVO posse, the OVO party. It's election season here in Canada. Our elections were a couple days ago. So, OVO party of Canada, voting for Prime Minister Aubrey Graham type deal. I definitely lost a little bit of faith, but then I realized it was fake. So I was like, okay, we're back in business. And also pedophile allegations. I don't really believe them. Definitely some questionable things, like that one chick on stage that he kissed or whatever. Definitely super questionable. I don't like that. I really don't like that. But I don't think Drake's a pedophile. And a lot of things from the Kendrick beef also came to light, like how what's his face? Whatever, his body, not the bodyguard, the other guy, something, Baca. Baca's got a weird case. Yeah, it was Baca. Baca was talking about it a couple weeks ago and how, we could easily fact check this, and it has been fact checked. This guy doesn't have a pedophile case on him, so they're very loose water accusations. And the one thing I don't like from that beef, again, we're not talking about the beef in general, just the one thing I don't like is that it kind of normalized just calling people pedophiles. And like, it's just kind of like absurd because it takes away the punch from actually accusing someone of being a pedophile. I just want to put that out there. I don't think it's Kendrick's fault necessarily, but definitely because of the hype of Not Like Us, the word pedophile is just thrown around consistently, and it takes away the meaning of the word, because there's actual disgusting pedophiles out there that need to be discussed, that need to be talked about, that need to be brought to light to fucking like protect our populace, protect our children, right? But now, like, everyone under the sun is just accused of a pedophile. Like, I was on Twitter the other day and I was talking politics. I voted and I was talking, I replied to something, and this guy was like, "You're a pedophile for voting for Bloc Québécois." I voted Bloc Québécois, yes. But they called me a pedophile for voting Bloc Québécois. And I honest to God believe that it's because of Not Like Us. Because, like, I don't know. It's anyway, whatever. I'm getting off topic, but I'm like, how am I a pedophile for voting for Bloc Québécois? I don't know. It's just now, it's become just like a staple insult, like a fucker. It's like calling someone a fucker, right? And I don't really agree with that. I think it's kind of fucked up. But regardless, that's my tangent for this podcast. We are at 14 minutes, and we ran through a couple albums, so it's not that bad actually. So honestly, never mind. Definitely not a classic album. We're gonna go to Some Sexy Songs for You. Again, this is not in order. Some Sexy Songs for You is definitely not a classic Drake album. First of all, it's a collaboration album with Party Next Door. I'm not a big fan of Party Next Door. However, again, I'm not putting my personal like desires of an album out right now, because the two albums that I think are crowned classics or potentially crowned classics are definitely not my favorite Drake albums. I'm just trying to think of it in the sphere of like the general public and what they believe is a Drake classic, like the overall consensus, not my own personal opinion. But I definitely don't think Some Sexy Songs for You is a classic Drake album. I think Nokia is obviously going to be a classic Drake song. It gives me a lot of Hotline Bling vibes. It's kind of like Drake's modern version of Hotline Bling. Excuse me. I quite enjoy Nokia. Is it a song that I'll go back to like consistently? No. Definitely not. I'm not going to be sitting there and being like, oh, I really want to listen to Nokia right now. No. Definitely not. But if Nokia comes on the radio, I'm definitely bobbing to it and I'm definitely singing along. I'm just not going to like actively play Nokia consistently. It's not in my rotation. I'll just put it out. I'll just say that. It's not in my rotation. Definitely a good song though. We're going to get into the more classic-ish albums now. Okay? No, I wouldn't consider these classics, but these are like the fence kind of thing. Like albums that sit on the fence of being a classic Drake, Aubrey Graham album. We're going to start off with Scorpion. I don't personally think Scorpion's a classic album. I've seen a couple people talk about how it is a classic album. I don't think Scorpion is necessarily a classic album. This is the one I see the least talk about. There definitely is a lot of music here. There's that one feature from Michael Jackson too that's just fucking wild. Let's just go through some of the songs real quick. There's Nonstop. There's God's Plan. I fucking hate God's Plan. Actually, you know what? I'm taking it back. Passion Fruit is Drake's second worst song. His worst song ever is fucking God's Plan. I swear I hate God's Plan, dude. It is so bad. I'm not sure if I hate it because of all the stupid fucking memes or like just like the stigma of this song, but I actually haven't liked it since it actually no fuck that. I haven't liked this song since it came out. I remember listening to this album when it first dropped on Apple Music. I listened to the whole thing. I was, how old was I? 18. I think I was like 20 or something. I remember because no, I must have been 18 when this album dropped, because I remember my friend just turned 18 and we were going to the strip club that night for his 18th birthday. Yeah. That's exactly when it came out. It came out like a couple days before my friend's birthday, and I listened to it the day that I was going to go to the strip club. I was getting ready, putting my cologne on, you know what I mean? And I had this album playing, and I was just like, what the actual fuck is this song? God's Plan is so shit. It's so bad. I'm sorry. To all the Drake stans out there, I'm sorry. But God's Plan is Drake's worst song. I don't give a fuck. It's terrible. But the rest of this album's not that bad. There's Mob Ties. There's Can't Take a Joke. I'm Upset. I'm Upset is such a... I'm not going to say it's a bad song, but just the context of it, like the Pusha T beef had happened. He was called a deadbeat dad for hiding his son, blah, 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 blah. And the consensus was Drake lost that beef, right? The beef now has been kind of swept under the rug. No one really talks about it. Well, I mean, maybe now because of the Kendrick beef, but before the Kendrick beef, no one really talked about the Pusha T beef, right? So again, that's a whole other video, a whole other podcast. But Drake put out I'm Upset because he was upset about the situation. I don't know, man. That's like the biggest bitch move. I have to admit, Drake is a great artist, but sometimes he got some bitch ass things going on, man. Like, what the fuck is this song? I'm upset. I'm upset. I'm upset. 50,000 on my head. That's disrespect. Like, no, bro. This is stop. Just stop while you're ahead, man. I don't know. I'm upset. I'm upset because he dropped I'm Upset, to be quite honest with you. But regardless, I'm Upset's on here. Good beat. I like the instrumental for I'm upset. But I just can't get behind the reasoning and why it exists, to be quite honest with you. Uh, there's Sandra's Rose is pretty good. There's Talk Up featuring Jay-Z. I like that one. There's a lot of like the reason why I wouldn't consider this a classic album. Why when people say it, I'm just like, oh, like, it must be hitting different for certain people because there's a lot of forgettable songs on this album. 8 out of 10, Summer Games, Peak, Is There More, Jaded. Like these are all songs that are so forgettable. Like I can't even remember the hook of Summer Games. I can't even remember any lyrics off of Summer Games. Like this is, yeah. There's Ratchet Happy Birthday. I remember that song got a lot of play, but I don't know. I was never a big fan of Ratchet Happy Birthday. I remember a lot of girls in my area when this song came out started posting that on their birthdays, and I was like, oh my god, like the Drake effect. There's so many different versions of the Drake effect. It could be either a feature, or it could be either getting the women to post a photo of them on their birthday with the fucking song in the background. I don't know. There's a lot of Drake effects out there, and that definitely is one of them. Getting the white women to post a birthday pic with Ratchet Happy Birthday definitely was a thing. Definitely was a thing. I remember that. In My Feelings actually is a great song. Like that song a lot. Final Fantasy is pretty good too. Don't Matter to Me with Michael Jackson. That song was just so fucking weird. A post-mortem feature. Or not. Here it says it's like a collaboration song, but you know, it's really a feature with Michael Jackson. This guy got his hands on like one of his masters and was like, oh, let me just like, anyway, whatever. This album is definitely not a classic to me. I can understand why people say it's a classic because Drake's quote unquote biggest song is on here, right? God's Plan, even though I fucking hate it, is definitely Drake's like biggest song ever made. But definitely not a classic to me. Definitely not a classic to me. Also, the description of this album is: I hate it when Drake raps. Drake sings too much. Drake is a pop artist. Drake doesn't write his own songs. Drake took an L. Drake didn't start from the bottom. Drake is finished. Drake's older stuff. I like Drake's older stuff. Sorry. Drake makes music for girls. Drake thinks he's Jamaican. Drake is an actor. Drake changed. Anybody else is bigger than Drake. Yeah, we know. That is such like, oh. I don't know, man. Like, Drake does so much cringe things. Like, that's why this album isn't a classic to me. This album, to me, is actually pretty cringe. I wouldn't say it's his worst album. He definitely has some great bangers, as I just said. But this Scorpion shit, man, it's just so, like, it's so cringe to me when I look back at it. I'm like, oh, Drake, man. Like, this is exactly why people, like, do those edits with you with the fingernails and the Hello Kitty and shit. Like, this is exactly why, man. Like, they're doing it to yourself. What the fuck is this description? Anyway, we're gonna get off Scorpion. 2018 Scorpion, definitely cringe to me, but there's some bangers on there, I guess. But it's in the talks for being a classic album. I personally don't think it's a classic album. Next one we're gonna talk about is Certified Lover Boy. I've seen some people talk about this as a classic album. I don't know what the fuck they're smoking. It is definitely not a classic album. I think I speak for the majority of Drake fans and rap fans alike. This is definitely not a Drake classic album. First of all, the cover is just fucking pregnant emojis. And again, this is a topic that I wanted to talk about too a little bit on this one. Drake has the worst cover sometimes. I don't know how one of the biggest artists, if not the biggest artist today. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Drake is the biggest artist today. I don't really give a fuck. He definitely is the biggest artist today. I don't know how the biggest artist today has some of the actual worst fucking cover arts of all time. This is such a bad fucking cover. What is this? That alone, I don't care if it was like the God sent album, everything just made sense. He had a perfect combination of rap and R&B and pop. I don't care. The cover itself negates it from being fucking classic. I don't care. I cannot tell you, I wouldn't feel like a grown man going up to someone and being like, yeah, I think Drake's classic album is Certified Lover Boy, when the cover is just a bunch of pregnant emojis. I can't get behind that. I can't get behind that, man. I can't get behind that. Anyway, I'm reading the description of the album. A combination of toxic masculinity and acceptance of truth is inevitably heartbreaking. Anyway, whatever, who cares? What songs are on here that would define it as a classic? Let's see. Poppy's Home is decent. Champagne Poetry is decent. Girls Want Girls. I don't like that song. I actually don't like that song. A lot of people like that song. Apparently, a lot of people like that song. It's like one of the most played songs on the album. I personally just don't like the song. I don't think it's a terrible song. I don't think it's a bad song. I don't think it's a song that I would need to skip if I'm in the car. That's how I look at a bad song versus a good song. Is like if I'm driving, will I actively reach for the console? Sorry, I just started talking about my car, and then my car started doing weird things. I record these in my car, by the way. When I get the idea, I just kind of park and record these. So that was super strange. My car just like it's off, and it just started locking its doors. I mean, I gotta get a new car, I guess. I drive a 2006 Honda Element, and I think it's on its last legs. Although this is my dream car. When I was a kid, I wanted this car so bad. So when I saw it on the market for like $2,000, I was like, "That's a fucking steal," and I bought it. Dude, the doors are locking on its own. I think the spirit of Drake is in my car right now. Or my car is just a huge Drake fan. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, car. Anyway, that's how I define a bad or a good song is will I reach for my console to skip the song? Girls Want Girls is definitely not one of those songs where I'd have to reach to skip on the console while I'm driving. In the Bible. In the Bible is a weird song. It's kind of like he wanted to like take two classic songs that he has, which is Chicago Freestyle featuring Jivion, and what's that other song with Lil Durk? Forget the title of the song now. Shit. Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. The classic Lil Durk and what's it called? Oh, Laugh Now, Cry Later. Sorry. Let me take a sip of this monster again because there's something stuck in my throat. Laugh Now, Cry Later. It's like you tried to take both those songs and kind of make a bastard child. It's okay. It's definitely not bad, but it's okay. All Love featuring Jay-Z, definitely not my favorite song. I think the song on Scorpion was much better with Jay-Z. Love All Sorry is just not my thing. Fair Trade, amazing. I'll go on record and say Fair Trade is a top 3 Travis feature even, because Travis Scott makes that song just so fucking good. It's definitely a good Drake song, but let's be real here. The highlight of Fair Trade is definitely the Travis feature. I would say it's one of Travis's top 3 features. Way Too Sexy. I like that song. You know what? Fuck it. I like this song. I remember when it came out, I thought it was overhyped. I thought it was overplayed. But in retrospect, I actually like Way Too Sexy. Great song. TSU. Great song. In Too Deep. Fucking fantastic song. Amazing song. In Too Deep is such a great ballad, and then when it gets to that fucking pop that shit, na 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 na. I wasn't even talking to anyway. In Too Deep, like that. Like I don't know, man. The transition on that song is amazing too. I love that song. I really do love that song. Pipe Down, another fucking fantastic song. Say you belong to the streets, but the streets belong to me. It's like home to me. Like oh wow, like oh. Definitely one of my favorite Drake songs of all time. Yeba's Heartbreak is good. No Friends in the Industry, another one of my favorite Drake songs. No Friends in the... Okay, I'm going to stop singing the songs. I think you guys get the point. 7 a.m. on Bridal Path. Definitely a Drake song. Definitely fits the theme of the timestamp series that he has going on. But it's not a highlight for me. But I know it's a highlight for some Drake fans, but it's just not a highlight for me. Race My Mind, don't like it. Fountains, don't like it. Get Along Better, don't like it. Also, I'm not a big Ty Dolla $ign fan. When I heard that, well, before Kanye went crazy, and I was actually looking forward to a lot of his music. When I heard that Ty Dolla $ign was going to be like he was making a collab album or like 3 collab albums with Ty Dolla $ign. We only got 2 of them, obviously, but I was not really looking forward to it because I'm not a big Ty Dolla $ign fan. Although I've garnered respect for him for Vultures because he actually put out a really good performance on Vultures. But no, this song doesn't do anything for me. You Only Live Twice with Lil Wayne and Rick Ross. Song does not do it for me. Not a big fan. I Am Y2 with Kid Cudi. This album, man, this thing's stuck in my throat. This album kind of just felt like he was saying "fuck you" to Kanye, to be honest, because he had like all of his friends on there. You know, he had Rick Ross. Well, Rick Ross and Drake have worked together a lot, so that makes sense. But he had Jay-Z, Rick Ross, Ty Dolla $ign, Kid Cudi. If you think about it, he was kind of just flipping Kanye the bird. at this point, because there's a whole Kanye and Drake beef that I can talk about in a different podcast as well. Actually, that'd be a really good podcast, just talking about all of Drake's beefs. Because some of them are merited, and some of them are very unmerited. Like the Kanye-Drake beef is just completely retarded. Kanye is a fucking idiot for that one. But regardless, that's a good podcast idea for the future. Fucking Fans, The Remorse. The reason why I don't say this is a classic album after like sucking off some of the songs on this album is because, yes, there are fucking fantastic songs on this album, like really good songs, but there are a lot of duds too. Fucking Fans, The Remorse, IMY2, Fountains. Like the first part of this album is actually really strong, and then there's just a bunch of like filler. I think people put too many songs in their album sometimes. There's 21 songs. If this album was 15 songs and you cut out some of the filler, I would consider it maybe a classic contender. If you change the fucking cover, because I'm not gonna sit there and be like, yeah, this is my favorite Drake album when there's a bunch of pregnant emojis. I'm sorry, I brought it up again, but like, it's the truth, man. So if Drake would have cut 15 songs, like the 15 filler songs off this album, and just put out like a really solid album, definitely a contender for classic. But I don't know. Next up, we're gonna talk about Her Loss. People have this as a contender for a classic Drake album. I wouldn't put it there. It's a very good album. I'll have to go through the track list. Pretty much every song on this track list is a banger, but again, it's a 21 Savage and Drake collab album, so you can't really call it a Drake classic album when it's a joint album, right? That's just my opinion. If you don't agree with me, leave it in the comments, but that's just my opinion. Great album though, nonetheless. For All the Dogs, I see people talking about this one too. I like this album. I think this is one of Drake's strongest albums, to be quite honest with you, and I might be crazy for that. But you know, solid opening track as per usual. Virginia Beach. It's very reminiscent to how, like, it's so solid, because I think Drake's most solid opening track is Tuscan Leather, and we're gonna get into that because that's on a different album that we haven't discussed yet. But Virginia Beach is definitely a contender for top Drake opening song, because Drake is known for having his really strong opening songs. Champagne Poetry, I believe, was the last one. Yeah, Champagne Poetry. And that one's not as strong as some of the other ones, but this one is really, really strong. Virginia Beach is probably one of the highlights of the album, so that's great. Amen, I don't like that song at all. Calling for You, I fucking hate that song. It's kind of like this weird song that sounds like it was supposed to be on Her Loss, but it wasn't, so they just put it on this, and it's not finished. It feels like the mixing's all off, and I don't know. Anyway, whatever. This song is just trash. I hate Calling for You. Fear of Heights, definitely a highlight of this album. Love that song. Replayed that song a billion times. Daylight, love that song. Replayed that song a billion times. Do I skip Adonis's part on it? Yes, but who doesn't? I'm sorry, Adonis. You know, you're a good kid, but you know, put some more time in the studio. Stop playing with blocks and start playing with the mic, bro. Stop drawing on your loose leaf and start fucking writing bars on it, bitch. No, I'm playing. But yeah, Daylight's a great song. Even the Scarface, sample at the beginning is kind of cringe, but it's kind of good too. It's like one of those cringes where you're like, oh, like, I don't want to like this, but I do. So yeah, I know a lot of people had their gripes with that. They're like, oh my god, he's putting the Scarface opening here, and you know, it's so cringe, and it's so like finance bro or whatever, you know. And I'm like, I don't care. Great. It's a great opening for that song, even though I do cringe and wince. I'm like, but I like it. First Person Shooter with J. Cole, obviously super highlight. This sparked the beef in a weird way. I don't really think it sparked the beef. Like the beef was sparked like fucking years before that, like almost a decade before that actually. But you know, I think J. Cole talking about the big three, and then apparently Drake actually reached out to Kendrick to get on this track. It was supposed to be Kendrick, J. Cole, and Drake, which would have been the big three on a track, and Kendrick declined. So yeah, that's another thing too that kind of gets me like, you know, you have a beef with a guy, the guy tries to bury the hatchet and get you on a track with J. Cole, which is like, You know, everyone's been waiting for a J. Cole Kendrick track for like fucking 15 years, and you still go after him in a beef. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Kendrick. A lot of the Kendrick fans like to suck his dick and be like, yeah, he's like the most morale. He's the most morale person of all time, you know. But the story behind First Person Shooter really truly shows that he just holds grudges. And Drake does too. And in Kendrick's defense, Drake definitely does hold grudges, but Drake did try to bury the hatchet and get Kendrick on this track. Kendrick said no. Imagine how amazing this track would be if it was Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole. I think I would have actually died. If that track came out, I probably would have had a cardiac arrest. But regardless, yeah. So First Person Shooter, definitely like a 10 on 10 song, especially that last Drake bar. I think that last Drake verse, actually, where the beat switches, definitely was kind of like, oh yeah, Kendrick doesn't want to get on the song, fuck you then. And he just like kind of went hard and compared himself to Mike Jack just to, like, I don't know, gloat. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. I don't give a fuck. Definitely a good song. I like this song. And you know what's crazy is that I like this song because of Yeet. I don't even like, well, I like the Drake part, but I'm not like a huge fan of the Drake part. The Yeet part is actually the highlight of the song. 7969 Santa, forgettable track. Slime You Out, forgettable track, to be honest. Bahamas Promises, I don't like that song too much. Tried Our Best, it's alright. Screw the World interlude is actually pretty fucking good. Drew a Picasso, I see a lot of people talking about this song. This song is apparently a really good song. I don't personally find it a really good song, but that's my personal opinion. But it definitely is a highlight for most people. Members Only, I don't like Party Next Door. I don't like his music too much, so that was a write-off for me. What Would Pluto Do? Definitely a great song. What would Pluto do? It fucked the hoe, so I did it. Like, great song. Great song. And the Pluto dissed him, man. That's the most heartbreaking part. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, hey, listen, that beef, man. Kendrick versus Drake, whatever. But, like, the fact that, thought that truck was going to fucking slam right into me. Crazy, dude. Like, the parking lot is completely empty, and this truck, like, just almost slammed right into my car. I don't get it. Anyway, yeah, Pluto, man. I can't believe it, dude. Like, why did Future have to... Wow, Future, come on, man. You know, there's nothing better than a Future Drake joint. I ain't gonna lie. Future and Drake just go hard together, which is, we're gonna talk about that in a bit too. But yeah, great song. All the Parties, I actually like that song too. And Chief Keef is just a really good feature on it. So, you know, I'm a big Chief Keef fan. So it was cool to hear that. ADM in Charlotte, definitely a highlight for a lot of people. But again, I like a lot of his timestamp songs, like in that series, especially the stuff that you heard on Care Package. Yeah, this song is good. It's just not my favorite song. BBL Love, it's an interlude. I'm not sure if you want to count it, but it's okay. Gently featuring Bad Bunny is fucking terrible, trash. Never want to hear it again. If anything, Drake sounds really good when he features on a Spanish song. Like that song with, I listen to it all the time. I don't know the name of the song. Fuck. I think it's something Capo. Fuck. I can't think of the song name. But anyway, his most recent Spanish song with the guy who had a song called Tres Letras, like the OVO song. I remember that song named Tres Letras, but I don't remember the other song name. I just play it. Whatever. And obviously he's on Mia. So I think Drake should just stick to featuring on Spanish tracks. I don't think he should be making his own, because this track is not good. This track is really bad. Rich Baby Daddy, I like it. You know, I'm part of that group of people who like this song, and there's some people who are like, I don't like this song. It's for the ratchet hoes. And you know what? Sometimes I put this song on, I pretend I'm a ratchet hoe. You know, I embody the character of a ratchet hoe when this song is on. I don't give a fuck. This song is actually so good. We got Another Late Night. I personally like this song. I think it's a really good song. I like how Yachty's on it. I feel like we were in store for a Yachty feature on a Drake track for a while. I heard recently that they're not too good of friends anymore or something like that. I don't know, but anyway, Lil Yachty was really good on this track. We got Away From Home. I really like this song. Away From Home is actually probably my favorite song on the album. And I think it's because it talks about Toronto. And I'm not from Toronto, but I can definitely relate to it. You know, Montreal's only 6 hours away. I've been to Toronto like fucking dozens of times. So, yeah. And Polar Opposites is on this track too, not my favorite. Anyway, people are talking about how this is a classic Drake album. I don't think so. I don't think so. Do I like it? Yes. Do I think it's a classic Drake album? No. Maybe give it some time. Maybe it'll grow into a classic Drake album. I don't know. I don't think so, but it could. But anyway, we're gonna skip over. Care Package because some people say Care Package is a classic Drake album, but again, it's just like a compilation of songs that weren't released, so I'm not going to talk about that. Definitely some great highlight tracks on there, and like the Joe Budden disses are on there too. But yeah, no, it's just not. It's not a classic album. It doesn't count as an album to begin with, so that's just that. Our last four. We're gonna go through this pretty quick, okay? What a Time to Be Alive featuring Future. A lot of people say this is a classic album, but I'm going to give it the treatment that I did with Her Loss. I'm going to give it the treatment with Some Sexy Songs for You. The collab album. It's a joint album. It's Future and Drake. Is it a great album? Fucking yes. Yes, 30-minute freestyle, or 30 for 30 freestyle, sorry. Great song. One of my favorite Drake songs. Fucking amazing. Jumpman is amazing. Diamond Dancing, great. Digital Dash, amazing. Fucking I'm the Plug, great. You know, like, great album. 11 songs of just pure bangers. But it's not a classic Drake album because Future's on it. Okay, so that's that. Next up, we're going to go in order of what I think is the classic album. So next up is Nothing Was the Same. People say this is a classic album, and I couldn't agree more, but I don't think it's his classic album. Does that make sense? I completely empathize and understand where you guys are coming from when you talk about this album being a classic. Tuscan Leather is probably Drake's strongest opening track. Started from the Bottom is definitely a song. Do I like it? Not really, but it definitely is a song, and it definitely gained notoriety, and it's definitely played consistently. So yeah, Wu-Tang Forever is good. You know, Worst Behavior is my favorite track off this joint, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Hold On, We're Going Home is definitely a great track too. And From Time too. And The Language too. And Connect too. And Pound Cake. And All Me. Actually, there's a lot of songs on here. I don't even know what my favorite one is. If I had to go with my favorite one, it'd probably be... I don't even know. Now I'm really... Maybe The Language. Yeah, I'm going to say The Language. The Language is definitely the song I went to the most off this album. But in recent years, Tuscan Leather is like my go-to song on this album. Yeah, it's a crazy thing, man. This album just like evolves over time, which is why I understand why people think it's a classic, and why if you had this opinion where it's like, oh yeah, I think this album is the classic album, you know, Nothing Was the Same is definitely the classic Drake album, I wouldn't bat an eyelash. Definitely a contender, definitely understandable. I get it, and yeah, this album is definitely really good. I wouldn't rank it top 3 in my personal Drake albums, like my personal favorites, but it definitely is a great album overall, has a lot of love, has a mass appeal. Next album we're going to go through is Views, 2016's Views, man. I think this one and the next one, obviously, well, the next one's obviously Take Care, but Views and Take Care definitely are tied or almost tied for the top spot for classic album. I don't even like Views. I don't even really like this album. There are some fucking solid songs on this album, you know? Feel No Ways is a great album, great song, a great fucking song. You know, Controlla, Child's Play, Grammys, One Dance, Pop Style, Too Good, Fire and Desire, you know, Hotline Bling. Like, there's a lot of Weston Road Flows. Like, there's a lot of decent tracks on this album, right? But it's definitely not my favorite album. Definitely not. Because as much as Controlla is a very popular song, I don't really like Controlla. One Dance, super popular song. I don't really like One Dance. You know what I mean? You With Me, popular song. I don't... Well, actually... No, I like You With Me. I'm lying. Redemption, popular song. I'm not really a big fan of it. So, as much as this is definitely not my favorite Drake album, I would probably rank this closer to the bottom. I definitely understand people when they say this is the classic Drake album. I get it. For once, the cover art's actually good. The other cover arts are not terrible, but they're definitely not amazing either. For once, the cover art is actually decent. I'll give Drake that. I'm very happy about that. I can say that the cover art on this album is pretty good. And the track list is great, you know. So this being a contender for a classic Drake album definitely makes sense, and I would completely agree if you told me that this was the classic Drake album in your eyes, because a lot of people are in consensus with this. They like this idea, and I couldn't agree more with that. But personally, this is my contender for classic Drake album, and I think the majority of people think the same way as me. It's definitely Take Care. It's definitely Take Care. The problem with this is that a lot of people who say, oh, it's the classic Drake album, get rebuked with, yeah, well, this was supposed to be the Weeknd's album. And that's true. If you don't know, a lot of the beats, a lot of the instrumentals off this album were supposed to go to the Weeknd, right? But at the time, Drake was heavily involved with XO, and a lot of people thought that Drake would be better off with these instrumentals than the Weeknd. The Weeknd also wasn't as big as he was today, obviously. He was just starting his career. So, I'm not sure the semantics. If Drake was given these, and like the label was like, oh, we're gonna buy these for Drake or whatever the case, I'm not sure, then that's a different story. But if Drake was like, no, give me these right now, I can understand why people think Drake's a dickhead, right? But I'm not sure of the semantics, so I can't say one for one. And if it actually is out there, comment below, give me like a link or something. I definitely will check it out. I'm not sure of the semantics of the deal, but a lot of people don't enjoy Drake because of this, and a lot of people discredit this album as a classic album because of that one factoid. But despite that, I think this is Drake's classic album. We got Headlines, we got Crew Love featuring The Weeknd, we got Take Care, we got Marvin's Room. Marvin's Room is just like, it's a good song and it's a meme. Like you don't get that too many times, right? A good song becoming a meme and still being a good song, you know? Marvin's Room is kind of like the reason why Drake and Drive exists. You know, like that saying, Drake and Drive, when you drive around and you're playing Drake and you're getting your feelings and you're crying and you're like, I should call her. Like, Marvin's Room is literally the birth of that. Marvin's Room is the birth of that saying. We got Buried Alive featuring Kendrick Lamar, which is not really featuring Kendrick Lamar, it's an interlude. And Kendrick Lamar goes fucking dumb on that. And if I'm being honest with you, this is how I got into Kendrick Lamar. So people saying, oh, Drake put him on tour, but he was still pop. No. I can attest that Drake put me onto Kendrick Lamar 110%. Do I think that gives him the right to own like all of Kendrick's discography and be like, oh, I made you? No. You know, there's a certain humbleness that you should carry yourself with. But I definitely got into Kendrick Lamar because of Drake. So I'm just going to put that out there. We got Underground Kings, kind of a song that I don't think about. Honestly, I haven't even thought about that song for the last, when did this come out? 2011? I haven't thought about that song in like 15 years. We'll Be Fine with Birdman. I don't really like that song. Make Me Proud with Nicki Minaj. It's a pretty good song. Pretty good song. Lord Knows. Pretty good song. Pretty good song. Cameras, interlude, whatever. Doing It Wrong, whatever. The Real Her. Amazing song. Underrated Drake song. Andre 3000 goes fucking dumb. We got Look at What You've Done. Good song. Hell Yeah Fucking Right. Good song. Practice. The Ride. The Motto. And Sleeping Alone bonus track. Now, some of the songs, there's probably 2 or 3 songs on this that are duds in my opinion. In my opinion, right? But just because they're duds doesn't mean they're bad. Doesn't mean they fall suit with the rest of the album. There are a lot of albums out there, man. A lot of fucking albums out there, and I've listened to a lot of albums and its completions, or to their completion. Sorry. And not every track on an album is going to be amazing. Going to be like, you know, moving. Like, there are albums like that where every single track is just a good track. A good example of that is Lexa Gates's Universe Wrapped in Flesh. I think I talked about it in the last podcast a little bit, but that album is just fucking fantastic from cover to cover. But it's kind of rare to find an album that's like cover to cover, just jaw-dropping. Drake definitely does not have a single album that's cover to cover jaw-dropping. 100%. 110%. But this album is damn near close to it. I think it definitely fits thematically. I think that might have to do with the fact that a lot of these beats were for The Weeknd. And I definitely would declare this Drake's classic album. It definitely is a classic. It's definitely an album that everyone kind of knows about. It's a definite album that people go back to, that people can pinpoint a period of time without necessarily being nostalgic. Like, it's just a great album altogether. I think this is definitely a classic Drake album. I think the top 3 classic Drake albums could all be defined as classic Drake albums. I'm just going off my personal opinion. If I had to choose one, it would definitely be Take Care. I don't see Nothing Was the Same as a classic Drake album. I don't really see Views as a classic Drake album from a personal aspect because I don't necessarily like Views all too much. But Take Care is definitely the classic Drake album in my eyes. I think the consensus for the majority of people is that it's also their classic Drake album. But, going back to the beginning of this podcast, classic, you don't have one. I'll beg to differ, Kendrick. I do think Drake has a classic album. It's definitely Take Care. And I just want to put something out there. What could Drake do to make another classic album? Right? How long is this voice recording? 50 minutes. This might be my longest podcast to date. Wow. Okay. Well, what could Drake do to continuously make a classic album? Or to make another classic album? Well, Scary Hours, and not the first EP single type thing, but the For All the Dogs Scary Hours edition, where he added the 6 extra songs. Those 6 extra songs, I'll be quite honest with you, the Scary Hours edition of For All the Dogs, the 6 extra songs fucking blow the rest of the album out of the water. These 6 songs are fucking fantastic. If he released these 6 songs with another 3 or maybe 4 that were in the same vein, that would be Drake's classic album. Red Button, Stories About My Brother, The Shoe Fits, Wickman, Evil Ways featuring J. Cole, and You Broke My Heart all thematically fit together so well. So well. If Drake had a full album, and I'm saying like 13 songs max in this vein, of the basically the deluxe edition of For All the Dogs, if he had 13 songs max with songs in this vein, he would have another classic on his hands. 110%. I have seen not a single person, even Drake haters, I have not even seen Drake haters talk shit about these 6 songs. Not a single person I have ever talked to, even if they don't like Drake, has talked shit about these 6 songs. That says a lot. Because these 6 songs are well thought out. They're well put together. There's some Drake charm in there, the petty Drake charm that we all like. Sometimes he puts a little bit too much petty charm in there and it becomes kind of like a crock of shit. But, Drake is known for his petty charm. He has a little bit of that in there, sorry. He has some great rapping. He has some classic fucking beats. Conductor killed Red Button. Killed it. Great fucking track. Wickman, underrated track. Evil Ways with J. Cole, great track. I don't know, man. I think that if Drake just sat down, made a 13-track song, like maximum, no more than 13 songs. If anything, maybe 12 or 11 would be fucking fantastic. But if he made a 13 maximum tracks album with this vein of music, he would have a hit on his hands. He would have a hit album on his album. I can't speak, sorry. We're getting to the end of the podcast. It's been an hour since I've been just ranting in my car. I apologize, I'm stumbling on my words. But if he had just 13 tracks in this vein, he would have another classic album on his hands. I am not kidding. Argue me. I stand on this business. Is Drake the best artist of all time? No. Is he the biggest artist right now? Yes. Does Drake have bad music? Yes. Does Drake have phenomenal music? Yes. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to sit here and suck on his dick. I think he could definitely just improve certain aspects of his discography by maybe not being as petty, maybe not being as childlike sometimes. I'm upset. What a fucking trash song, man. Good instrumental, and his ability to rap and his cadence is great, but I am upset, dude. I'm upset after a beef. Come on. Or what are you, a fucking toddler? Sometimes I gotta scratch my head. I'd be like, damn, I like this guy as an artist so much, but what the fuck is going on right now? You gotta keep it real with him. You can be a Drake fan and also keep it real. I like Drake, but damn, this boy is petty, bro. This boy is fucking petty. You know what I mean? This boy got some estrogen in places he should not have estrogen. Stop rapping about how you're upset, bro. Come on. Anyway, that's the end of the podcast. Just to go over what we talked about, Drake's classic albums nothing was the same. Views and I keep saying headlines. I don't know why. I guess because headlines is like how. Anyway, whatever. Nothing was the same. Views and Take Care are definitely the three contenders for classic album by Drake. If I had to choose one, it would definitely be Take Care. I wouldn't consider the other ones classic in my eyes, but I can see how other people can distinct them as, or identify them, as classics. It's time for me to end this podcast. It's been 55 pure minutes of Canadian artist Aubrey Graham on the mic. Or speaking of Aubrey Graham, I can't speak. I'm just going to end the podcast right now. We're not going to have an outro. Ciao, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you for listening. Bye.